The roots of pulling resides in the power of the farm tractor. Raw torque against weight rendered into distance. The drivers are suiting up for the largest class in the Battle of the Bluegrass, so get ready to smell the soil and watch the dirt dance.
What is pulling? It's the only motorsport measured in inches. Pulling involves tractors and trucks hitched to a special sled with a moving weight box. The goal is to haul the sled as far as possible before the shifting weight pulls it to a stop. The longest pull wins.
Expectations are high here at the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds in Danville, Kentucky, as we embark on our second outing of the House Lubricator Battle of the Bluegrass. It's the Bubba Burger Bluegrass Nationals presented by Liquid 2. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ted Jones, Mike Side with Tom McConnell, and to help explain today's activities, the third member of our broadcast team, our pit reporter.
Hi, I'm Kathy Fisher, and this whole show we are going to feature one very special class. That is the Light Limited Superstock tractor. This tractor here, Brad, doesn't look like it was really light when it came out of the factory. How did you lose so much weight?
We take a lot of cast iron parts off and replace them with aluminum and steel, and just wherever you can get a pound with a grinder, you just cut it off and keep on going.
I have to ask, about where did we start on this tractor?
About 8,000 or 9,000 pounds, down to a little under 6,000 right now.
Is that what you need to have it at for this class?
It needs to be lighter than it is, but we're just working with what we have right now.
But you're working with a whole lot of horsepower, and my understanding is like 12 to 1,300, and you've made a switch to an Urson cam. Is that kind of what helped you here?
Yeah, we've been running Urson cams for a couple years now, and we've had great luck with them.
With this much horsepower, with this much weight, is this thing kind of hard to control?
Yeah, they can be a wild ride. They kind of have a mind of their own out there.
Well, as we make the final preparations with the sled, a good chance to learn a little bit about this class. Diesel and alcohol both. The alcohol tractors, 370 cubic inch, a 3-inch Charger. The diesels, 470 cubic inch. They can go upwards to a 3.6 inlet size on the turbocharger. So, first guy up, Mark Filiatru, the Can Survive out of Bardstown, Kentucky, of course. Can Survive. Ted, he worked on this tractor for about 5 years. Second year in, he ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, had to put the tractor aside, fought cancer, won, and now look at him. The beautiful liquid tube ride is going down the track. Can Survive, he's doing it now. Can he win?
Well, Tom, I don't know. He shuts down a little early. 296 feet. I'm not sure that's enough to win. Kathy Fisher is down there on top end.
The tractor's absolutely beautiful. Love all the billet that you have, and I also love the fact that you have beat cancer.
Yeah, we really did. It's been tough, but we did it, and right now everything's good. So we're gonna hang in there.
Things are going to get green and yellow with Kevin Shingleton, the Kentucky gambler out of Lexington, Kentucky.
Well, Shingleton, a second-generation puller. You'll see his father pulling out here a little bit later on. He pulls a John Deere. His dad pulls a red one. The Kentucky Gambler is launching hard, Ted. The John Deere fans are on their feet. That is a straight run, but not anymore. He's going over to the left, has to get on the brakes. He's not going to get it done, Ted.
288 feet will not get it done. He has to apply the brake to keep from going out of bounds. Right now, let's take a ride with him. You'll see him start pulling off right there to the left-hand side. That's when he hits that handbrake to correct, but that also slows him down.
It was drifting me over to the left. Had to get on the brake a little bit.
Yep, and when the distance, you want to go straight because then you're using up everything going all over the track.
Exactly. Happens to the best of us.
You never can tell for sure. Time for a bunch of old rags from Shelbyville, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lindsey Moore.
Lindsey, a third-generation puller. I've seen this tractor lay down some awesome runs. Now get this, the first three tractors, we've already seen a blue Ford. We've already seen a green John Deere, now an orange Alice Chalmers 298 and change, and that takes over the lead.
Take one more look at it. He starts pulling over to one side just a little bit, then gets it straight, and that's the secret. No brakes, folks. Here's Kathy.
When do you have to let them know where you want the sled set up?
Right before I get ready to hook to the sled, make sure that where I want it at.
Well, it definitely was a good picking spot.
Well, I like the right side a little bit better than I did the left, so that's the reason why I brought it over to the right just a hair.
Well, it was compared to the other ones we've seen, that was a good straight run.
Well, I just hit everything pretty close right, so I'm happy, tickled.
Do you think it'll hold?
There's some pretty good ones back there still yet, but I got faith in old girl here.
Yes, there are. Here the way they stand right now as we get ready to go to break. Looks like Lindsey Moore's on top, but will that be enough? This coverage of the Bubba Burger Bluegrass Nationals is brought to you by Al's Lubricator, professional grade performance since 1920. And by Bubba Burger, you'll never bite a burger better than a Bubba. And by RJS Racing, where racing and safety meet. We're coming to you this week from the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds. A quick look right now into Dave Burnett's pit area. A little more on him first. Let's catch up with Kathy Fisher, who has a special award.
Here at an event like the Bubba Burger Bluegrass Nationals, there's all kinds of fun going on. There's also all kinds of special awards, like David Burnett, who's been pulling for over 30 years, picking up the Liquid Tube Best Engineer Award. You know what else is best about an event like this? Well, since it is the Bubba Burger Bluegrass Nationals, how about some Bubba Burgers on the grill? Having fun, lots of camaraderie going on, but when it comes time to get on the track, fun is over. It's about being serious, and let's get back to it.
Back to the action we go in the light limited Superstock category. This is Ron Mitchell in an Alice Chalmers. You don't see a lot of those.
Well, the thing that makes this light limited class so interesting is every color, shape, manufacturer you can think of is in this category, and it's a perfect mix. It's just one of the most perfect tractor classes ever. Ron Mitchell takes over the lead, Ted, with the Alice.
And Ron's wife's very happy with that. Let's go to Kathy.
The top end of the track, right at the end, man, it looked like it was just really trying to drive you over.
It was. I had to stay on it to stay in the middle, but I was hooked up pretty good and we was moving.
Yes, you were moving all the way to number one.
Thank you.
Well, from orange to yellow, here's Old Yeller, Mitchell Coomer out of Columbia, Kentucky. Now, I guess he calls it Old Yeller because it's yellow.
It's yellow, but it's not Minneapolis Moline. That is an international. It is an actual construction or industrial tractor. It's an old 560 that was used on construction sites back in the 60s. And hey, the horsepower in that ride, he goes over into the lead. Let's check it out, Ted. Comes off the line, sparks coming out of the bell housing area. A little bit of clutch smoke, but Mitchell doesn't care. He's here to win.
You don't get a chance, the folks in front of you, to hang on to enjoy for very long when they've got you behind them.
Yeah, I'm running some of that moonshine in my tank at Travis, my brother makes, and that kind of got me out there in the lead, but it may not hold up. There's a lot of good tractors back there.
What did you think of the track tonight?
The track was real good tonight. It had the right amount of moisture. Good track, real good.
And you found the right spot.
Maybe, I hope so. It felt good.
All right, we'll see what happens next.
Thank you.
Well, of course, his brother Travis is the owner of Black Gold Moonshine. More on that later. Back into the action. Our second look at our Ford. Our first look at a Ford diesel. This is a bad ride here, Ted. This is Tim Hammonds out of Berea, Kentucky. Look at that beautiful run. Way perfect. The Ford fans on their feet.
But not perfect enough. A little short at 308 feet. He will not pass the moonshine burning Old Yeller. Let's look at it one more time with wheels up.
Look at that tremendous display of torque, Ted.
Well, your 308, you think that'll hold for number two?
I hope so. It'll be better than third.
Our next puller is going to drive the Fence Row Fugitive out of Science Hill, Kentucky. This is Steve Dye. What's with that name?
I don't know, but I think he spent a lot of time hiding in the ditches is what I gathered, Ted. Well, right now, maybe he can go back to the ditches and find some money to repair the tractor. Did some serious damage there. Hate to see that for Steve Dye.
Here comes the Kentucky sled hunter. Let's see what Ethan Moore can do.
Ethan Moore launched the season right by taking the John Deere into the winner's circle at Falmouth, Kentucky. The Green fans on their feet, having to get on the brake, Ted. He's going to come up short.
He needs some of that moonshine too, because Mitchell Coomer is still our leader. We'll look one more time. Oh, pulls seriously over to the left right there. Again, has to hit the brakes, and that slowed him down.
It was hard to decide on what gear and where to put the weight, but I think we judged it pretty well, but there's always things you wish you would have done. Just wasn't our night, I guess.
So that being said, it'll be time to take a break. First, let's take a look at the leaderboard right here. Mitchell Coomer, the Old Yeller, is ahead by about 4 feet over Tim Hammonds. You're watching the Bubba Burger Bluegrass Nationals, coming to you from the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds. Ted Jones, Tom McConnell, Mike Slide with you as we continue on with our light limited Superstock category. Our next puller is Lois Connor out of Jamestown, Kentucky.
You know, this class has got a lot of color in it, but the next few you're going to see a lot of red. But what's up in top right now? It's a yellow international. Lois Connor launching it. This guy used to pull antiques with a cock shut, made the switch to international, and the booze and binder, laying down a good run. But Ted, bouncing all the way down the track. He had it straight, but the weight wasn't right. He's going down.
No, 266 feet, nowhere close enough. Here comes Floyd Shingleton out of Lexington, Kentucky. Obviously, he had to be in the Marine Corps at some time because he calls it Semper Fi.
Well, Floyd is a Vietnam vet. This tractor is named in honor of all the Marines that have served and those that did not come back. Floyd laying down a run, but she shuts down early. Hate to see that happen. Checking out everything under the hood. That's his son, Kevin Shingleton, that pulled that John Deere earlier. Not a good deal for the Shingleton team this weekend.
Well, looks like maybe he has found something because he backs up, rehooks. He's going to go again, Tom.
Yeah, didn't get past 75 feet. They think they've got it lined out now. One more attempt. Look at that, Ted. The tractor's running good, but he's all over the track. It's going to cost him on the far end.
297 feet. He had to get on the brake one more time. Let's go on board with him. Take a ride, folks.
Now watch his right foot. He will use it to guide the tractor, not with the steering wheel. His foot is driving the tractor with the brake system. Left foot shuts the clutch down. He's done.
You're 297, but I'm thinking you went almost about 330 getting there.
Probably, but you know, yeah, I guess we had a lot of problems last night though. It's on both sides of the track, but it's better tonight though.
What did happen when you went to pole the first time?
Too high gear.
Well, too high gear, Ted, means he didn't have enough horsepower to pull it. That track is taking the horsepower. Here comes Brad Powell of Grange, Kentucky. The cut loose, launching hard, trying to beat Mitchell Coomer, sitting up there at 312. And cut loose will not get it done tonight, Ted.
Exactly 300 feet, which normally would be great. Now, let's take a look at him up close and personal, driving that big international.
So what's it like, 3 different tractors?
Well, they're all different, but we ran last night. The track's not as good as it was last night, so we made adjustments, and they weren't good enough. So we're going to make adjustments on the other 2 and see if we can't do a little better.
Well, Brad's going to be driving his father's tractor tonight. Also going to be driving the Ain't Misbehavin'. We'll see what happens. David Burnett on the line now. Beautiful international. He is a former winner here at the Bluegrass Nationals in Danville, but it's not going to happen tonight, Ted. He's already getting nuts, out of control. Burnett shuts down.
Well, 253 feet indeed will not get it done. You met him earlier in the show. Take a look. What a driving job he had to do to keep from going out of bounds.
Because I thought you were going to go out of bounds for a second.
Yeah, I did too, so that's why I let out of it. Ain't no need to get nobody hurt.
How often do you have a run like that?
Well, I used to have them all the time, but every once in a while, not too many times.
And normally something like that would cause it would be like, say, a chain. It wouldn't be the way you were lined up on the track, or?
I don't know if I was straight with the sled or the chain had a kink in it or what happened. It just, it normally doesn't do that.
Tim McMillan, the Redeemer out of Wilmore, Kentucky, with his Alice Chalmers, will be our next puller.
Well, Alice Chalmers have done awfully good out here tonight. This guy has won this event here in Danville before. Oh no, hands are up. Gonna get towed off the track with the antique Ford. The Redeemer broke on the line. Hate to see that.
Here's the way they line up. We're not done yet, folks. We got a record number of these. Mitchell Coomer still in the lead, all colors. Stay tuned. This coverage of the Bubba Burger Bluegrass Nationals is being brought to you by Howe's Lubricator, professional grade performance since 1920. And by Black Gold Moonshine, illegal for 30 years, now it's legal. And by Liquid Tube, the original liquid inner tube. You see the Ferris wheel in the background? That's because we're at a fair. It's at Danville, Boyle County Fairgrounds. We continue on with our light limited Superstock class.
Brad Powell did the driving on Cut Loose. Now he's doing the driving on his dad's Ford, the Out for Revenge. Kenny Powell out for back surgery. Doctor said don't drive. He was trying to get on, but it's not going to happen.
And remember, they marked to beat 312 feet. He's not going to get it done at 294. Now, he has another tractor to drive, as Tom explained to you, so he's walking back right now to the Ain't Misbehavin'. Meanwhile, earlier today, Kathy Fisher filed this story on our next puller and his American Beauty tractor.
Come across a beauty right here. As a matter of fact, an American Beauty, and I stopped in to ask Larry how he came up with the name.
Well, we was putting a tractor together and we couldn't come up with a name. That was the day of 9/11, and when the twin tires were falling, we was trying to start the tractor and was backwards and forwards watching that. And my wife says, let's put the Statue of Liberty on the side of it and call it the American Beauty. And I said, well, I'll agree with that. But if we're going to do that, let's paint it red, white, and blue also.
And as Larry pointed out, beautiful red, white, and blue all the way back into the stars and stripes, and Old Glory blowing in the breeze.
Well, it's interesting to note, too, that the red, white, and blue scheme was actually used as a promotional piece in 1976 from the Case Company on this series tractor to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the United States. This one, though, a lot of horsepower. Eads laying down a good run. The diesel, whoa, having problems bouncing there at the end.
Let's look at it again with our House Loop Instant Replay. You can see he keeps hitting the brake there to keep from going out of bounds. Hits the brake, corrects it, hits the brake, corrects it. It insists on going out of bounds, so he just shuts it down.
You guys changed drivers on us.
Yeah, I thought I'd try it tonight.
Do we have a locked up rear end here or what?
I believe so.
When did you feel it start to act funny?
When it bounced a little bit out there.
So now we find out why it kept pulling off to one side. The rear end was locked up, so they'll have to pick him up with the forklift and move him out of the way. Remember this guy, Brad Powell? He went back to get Ain't Misbehavin'. Well, here he is.
Well, this tractor owned by Philip Bewley out of E-Town. Philip Bewley drives it hard. Brad Powell's driving the John Deere hard, too. This is the last green one in the class. Can he get it done? Running out of power there, Ted. Not going to be a green one in the winner's circle tonight. 288.62. and you see the Kentucky Sled Hunter team keeping distances. This is a serious deal. All these guys running for points all year long, and we're down to the last one, Ted.
Wouldn't it be ironic if a Ford came up out of nowhere and won this thing?
It could happen. Brian Bentley, Taylorsville, Kentucky. If he can get the front end up, that tractor does good, but the front end not coming up like it usually does. He is going to come up short today, Ted.
284 feet. Looks like he has some fluid leaking there. That may be oil. That may be what happened. Let's go to Kathy with our winner.
Man, what a great night for you, and held on for number one.
Thank you. That was a good pull for me. According to the track conditions and everything, it was a real good track.
How does that feel when you make a good run and then you have to sit back and watch everybody else go?
Well, sometimes it's kind of in the mood you're in, you know. Sometimes you can sit there and relax, and other times you're just all on needles.
And our congratulations go out to Mitchell Coomer, our winner. Here's how they ended up finishing up: 1 through 10, 288 feet, plus all the way down to number 17, Tim McMillan, who broke with the Redeemer. Now, our next feature is the hot run of the day, and that, of course, has to go to Mitchell Coomer and the Old Yeller. What a perfect run right down the track. He didn't have to use the brake at all, and that's the way he managed to go 312 feet to pick up the win. And Mark Filiatru will pick up our Steiner Tractor Parts Best Appearing Award for his Cancer Vibe. That's our cancer survivor. That'll bring to a close another edition of the House Lubricator Battle of the Bluegrass, but join us next week. We'll be covering those wild, unpredictable Superstock two-wheel drives. And an extra treat for you folks, semi-trucks pulling. You're going to love it. Until then, I'm Ted Jones for Tom McConnell and Kathy Fisher. So long, everyone, from Danville, Kentucky.